Figure we start to show up different today. Here we go.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of I Be Damn. So, we get this call from out of Detroit, Michigan today, and she says, "Hey, Rod, you know, I want to talk about this date I had." So I said, "Okay, all right, cool." So she tells me. So she says, "I met this guy at a friend's party, and we hit it off. He was gorgeous." She spelled it Gawjus. Gorgeous, chocolate man, nice body, dressed well, smelled good, and he was funny. Lord knows I love a funny man. He asked me for my number, and we kept in touch after the party. African black man model with a six pack and an unbuttoned white shirt isolated against a concrete wall background on the beach. That's what she said. That was her description of him. Okay, anyway. So since I had a habit on going on dates with limited pre-discussions, i.e. not enough pre-date screening, she didn't do enough digging. So I wanted to take my time to converse with this guy to learn a little bit more about him before we went out. I really enjoyed our chats because, as I mentioned before, he was funny and our conversations flowed with ease. He happily discussed his family roots, his upbringing, career, etc. But his demeanor completely changed when he discussed children, and more specifically, the mother of his child. I learned that he had a young son by a woman that absolutely, well, he had a young son by a woman that he absolutely, positively hated. And she put that shit in all caps. I mean, he spoke of this woman as if she was the spawn of Satan. Although my mind was set on not taking this guy seriously after hearing him spew so much hatred, I allowed him to continue to vent about his son's mother. And here's what he shared. One, although she had feelings for him, he didn't see a future with his son's mother. Let's call her SM. When they were dating, but carried on sexual relationships with her. Two, he was dating SM. He met someone else he really liked and broke things off with SM, but told SM they could still kick it. By the way, they could still jump up and down. They could still hump. Three, he and SM continued to jump up and down, hump on each other, after he told her he had someone new in his life. Four, SM trapped him and tried to win him back after he had a new girlfriend by giving him some luxury gifts, some expensive watch or some other bullshit. He accepted the gifts and kicked it with SM one more time. Five, he never used condoms while sleeping with SM because she was supposedly on the pill, and the night that he went to pick up his gifts is the night his son was conceived. Six, SM ruined his relationship with his new girlfriend by telling her about them sleeping together. Seven, SM is nasty because she let a bunch of dudes, let's rephrase this. SM is nasty because she has a bunch of children by different men. He's the second or third in the lineup of guys to get get SM pregnant. Number eight, she makes things difficult for him when he tries to see his son. Number nine, she's a disgusting human being. That's all what he said, she said. That's the 9 things he said about her. So she stated, I don't know how other people operate, but it's a huge flag for me to hear a potential love interest speak very negatively of the other parent of their child or children, especially without taking responsibility for their role in the situation. If he could speak like that to me, a somewhat stranger, I can only imagine the kind of things he says in front of his child. I get that shit happens and co-parenting can be a challenge. I am also not naive to the fact that there are a lot of bad parents in this world, and SM probably makes things difficult for him. But this dude had so much hatred in his heart for this woman that made me very uncomfortable, especially when he helped create the problem. On top of being turned off by his hatred, I found his reasoning to be kind of foolish. I had zero sympathy for him, and a bunch of questions crossed my mind that I wanted to ask, but didn't bother to do so. How can you part your lips to say that the mother of your child is nasty when you weren't the first dude to get her pregnant? She already had a child or two when you met. Didn't you know this chick was fertile? Why would you accept lavish gifts and continue to jump up and down and hump with SM after you began a relationship with someone else? Why would you sleep with SM Raw when you were in a relationship with someone else? He tried to get a nut and he got a nut. Jay-Z reference. Although I'm not sure if he meant that in that context. How is any of this not your fault? Lastly, why are you telling me all this? TMI. I had to break the date off. Holla at you later. Peace. See y'all next week with another episode of I Be Damn.
All right, y'all. What up? What up? What up? What up? Good evening. Welcome to Amsterdam Talk. Sorry, we started the show off a little differently than we normally do. We started with an I be damn first because I was waiting on my actual guest. How you doing, Miss Rains? I see you done made it.
There we go. Oh, let me turn. Should I turn my thing sideways? I think that's probably better. Yes, I'm doing well. Apologies for the delay. I was coming directly from Sober Black Girls Club in Clubhouse, and we've had a couple new folks in the Clubhouse room, so ended up going a little longer than usual, but I made it.
All right. Well, you using it Keola? That's how you pronounce your first name?
Keola. Yes.
Keola. All right, y'all. This is Miss Keola from what is it, the Sobriety Clubhouse?
Well, yeah, lots of different places. Probably someone reached out to me on Clubhouse, and they probably found me through the Sobriety Club,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm a admin in the Sobriety Club, but I'm also an admin in Sober Black Girls Club, where I tend to spend a little bit more of my time on Clubhouse
Okay.
in Sober Black Girls Club. Um, so yeah, I guess I'm a
Well,
member of both of those communities, and I'm active in both of those communities.
Well, that was me because I was driving and I asked Ava to reach out to you because I was driving because I was like, we got to do a show on sobriety because it's like, that's something that we in the community don't talk about because, um, things that we do as far as like weddings,
Yeah.
uh, baby showers, funerals, anything. It's food and alcohol. Is That's like two of the
Yeah.
main things.
Yeah.
It was just like there's always alcohol involved somewhere. So some people they dive into it and they suppress things. But before we
Yeah.
get into it, I just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into it.
Yeah, definitely. So, my name's Keola. I'm in California, in Los Angeles, California. This round of my sobriety journey, I'll say, because I drank for 20 years before I, decided I wanted to change my life. I just celebrated 3 years, January 1st. So just 3 years and 2 weeks into this journey. I grew up in a household where my father was struggling with addiction himself. And we never talked about it. It was kind of like this unspoken thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was familiar with challenges with substances, but
Mm-hmm.
unlike my older sister, I decided at a young age that I was going to try drugs and alcohol. My older sister was like, I'm not going to try that stuff. I see what happened with my dad. I'm not doing it. I was more rebellious and I was like, oh, I'm going to try it. Must be fun. Um, Definitely not. And so this round, I have so many different resources that I didn't take access to, that I didn't reach out for help. My first like shaking moment when I should have reached out for help, I didn't. And this time I just decided that I'm going to take all the help that I could possibly get. And I've found an amazing community in Sober Black Girls Club, which is founded by a Black woman, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I found a lot of support in the Sobriety Club on Clubhouse, which is
Mm-hmm.
actually also founded by a Black woman. So we have a whole new world in this recovery, space that's happening. Um, I just a little bit about me, my drinking career. I started drinking at 15 in high school, the Boone's Farm, party drinking. Obviously, at 15, I had no idea that 20 years later, I would need to really sit and, take a real honest look at my relationship with alcohol.
Right.
Drank through college, got the bachelor's degree, got the master's degree, opened up a gym, was checking off all these boxes. Everything looked great on the outside. Oh, yeah, you've accomplished the you're accomplishing all the tasks that your parents set out for you. You're accomplishing all the goals that your parents encouraged you to reach. But I
Mm-hmm.
had this secret little problem where it was changing my attitude, changing my mood, making me more anxious. And like you said, when you have that high school party drink, nobody is thinking at 15, 16 at a high school party, oh, I might end up like abusing alcohol. Same thing in college. You're going to frat parties, you're going to, college parties. Nobody is thinking in college like, oh my gosh, I'm drinking every weekend. Is this a problem? No. Everybody's drinking every weekend. So you don't think, anything of it. And then, like you said, family parties, family functions, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Easter, birthday, funeral. If it's a family event, there's alcohol there.
Any day if it's an event, just
Yeah,
celebration.
it's yeah. If you're celebrating or if you are grieving, for either
Right.
one we drink. And so it is definitely something that's so normalized, especially in American culture.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew before what I would consider my bottom, before the DUI, before getting arrested for fighting with my boyfriend, before those things, I knew that there was a problem. And my first kind of waking moment was missing. I went to school for kinesiology, so when I graduated, I started personal training immediately. Um, Odd, right? What? How ironic! I was,
Hold on, before you go into
health
that,
and wellness coach.
yeah, before you go into that, so you said 15. Like, was it
Yeah.
peer pressure or was just something you and the girls or you and the guys or whatever just say, hey, we just gonna do this?
No, yeah, just that high school, like, oh, somebody's mom isn't home. Let's break into the liquor cabinet and drink. It was just one of those, like, those little teenage, the adolescents kind of um rites of passage kind of a thing.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
there were, I'm sure there was some kids who had already decided that they weren't going to do that. They were not interested in it. I was not that kid. I was the kid that was like, I'm definitely drinking. As soon as somebody gets some alcohol, I'm doing it. I decided that in my head at probably, I don't know, 11 or 12 years old. Um, and so from then on, just if it was available, then I drank. And then of course, weed came in. So weed, drinking. Um, and just didn't think anything of it. Obviously, I didn't plan. I
Is
wasn't
that,
thinking this could
is
be
that
the
as
thing
far as it
that
went?
takes me out.
No, is that as far as it went? Just weed and drinking, nothing else?
No, weed, alcohol, cocaine. I tried mushrooms. Accidentally. Oh man, that was the worst. Thinking somebody was giving me some coke and it was actually speed. Oh,
Oh,
what a nightmare. So those are those. That's what you get, girl. That's what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like you think you're gonna. That's what happens when you're just out there being willing to try whatever. Man, yeah, that was definitely a horrible experience, and I'm grateful. Probably sounds crazy, but I'm glad that alcohol was my drug because I've seen alcohol can damage and ruin your life. You can lose your life, but I just feel like my personality is one that if I had gotten too into anything else, it could have really taken my life in a completely different direction. Not that I didn't have enough bad experiences with alcohol, but I just the feeling I was looking for was in alcohol, that numbing, um, and not even so much liquid courage, but just quieting that voice in my head. I'm a very uh,
right.
active, mentally active, overthinking, a little anxious. So alcohol just kind of like numbed that feeling. And I didn't realize that that's what I was searching for until I started my recovery journey. I didn't understand that it was anxiety that I was actually living with, but I was using alcohol to cope with.
Okay.
And through my recovery journey, that is how I've been able to find, really great therapists, Sober Black Girls Club, which is the most amazing sobriety community ever. Um, exactly, beer muscles. Like I just, I'm finally in a place where like I'm accepting who I am, and I know that that substance is not going to do anything beneficial for me. So I choose not to use it. I'm not, nothing. My partner, he has alcohol, and we has a little bar here in the house. I'm not one of those people that is like, I never want to see it, I don't want it around me, for me personally.
Right.
But I just know that it has no place or use in my life,
Got you.
and I'm proud. I'm proud of that. We're in a different place in history. I will say in history, that's how big of a deal it is. There's a movement. There's a sober curious movement where people are openly talking about
Mm-hmm.
not drinking, not using substances, openly recovering. They call it recovering out loud. It's the shame and the stigma is just being minimized. It's being erased, and people are realizing that it's not it's not you are a loser. You tried alcohol, you tried drugs because you're a loser.
Right.
Um, I could go on a whole separate topic when it comes to race, socioeconomic status, and the use of substances just to cope and get through life.
Coping
If
mechanism.
we really wanted, yeah, if we really wanted to get super deep into it, slave owners were giving alcohol to slaves on their one day, we'll say off. They never really had a day off, but on their one day. So just to um, keep us in that mindset. So another reason I could choose to stay sober is for liberation and for, as a black woman, to be the most present and the most aware that I can be at all times.
Got
So
you.
that's a long short story
No, I
about
got
me.
you because there's a lot to unpack in what you said, and that right there with the liberation of slavery on our day off or whatever we would like to call it, and coping mechanism. And it basically says that, okay, we know you're going through this, but I'm going to suppress it with this because my grandmother always used to say, you can drink, but your problems don't go away. You suppress it for that moment. You kind of forget, but once you sober up, shit comes right back. So it's really
Comes
not,
right back.
you're not hiding from anything, you know.
Yeah,
So things of that nature. And I noticed what you said in the beginning. You said the DUIs, the fights in the relationships, and this was all through to, I guess, beer muscles and alcohol being involved.
definitely. Yeah, alcohol involved in, and even not in the moment, just the lingering effects, which will
Hmm.
increase your anxiety, increase your depression. So if the moment you're drinking, okay, I feel a little less depressed, I feel a little
Right,
less anxious, but you keep on drinking, and the next day, what happened? What did I do? What did I say? Now you're even more anxious.
right,
Or you pass out, you black out, now you're even more depressed because you didn't get the things done that you said you were going to do. And
right,
then it just starts this cycle. But there was no instances where I was having major problems, conflict with friends, with family, with coworkers, or supervisors, or any of those things where alcohol was not a factor. So I
right,
started accepting that, okay, girl, you know what this is like. But when your best friends all still drink, and
hmm,
your close people to you still drink, and at that time no one had said anything yet about, hey,
right,
we're concerned, or we noticed, and eventually my family did, but I was already kind of spiraling down at that point when they were like, we're concerned, we noticed you're drinking more than ever before. And it was already at a whole different level. And it doesn't matter who says anything to you, what happens, you have to decide. I know people who have 6 7 DUIs still drinking.
right. So,
So until you decide, you're going to be stuck in that place.
right. So I know you said that your family started, saying things about you drinking more. So was it like were you resisting, or were you like, just like defensive, like, nah, this is, with denial, things of
Yeah.
that nature?
No, I wasn't, not so much defensive, but just like, damn, like this is. this is really happening. Like this is actually happening. My family is literally all sitting around concerned, telling me their stories, their experiences, their concerns, and um, I think I took things in, and actually, I probably was. Let me take that back. I'm sure I was defensive and argumentative because that's who I used to be when I drank, was argumentative and defensive.
Right.
Um, and the timing wasn't so great because it was like Christmas Eve or something. And
Mm.
I left, after the conversation. I'm out of here. Drove all the way home, and ended up coming back the next morning. Just kind of like, okay, I'm not. This is real, and I accept what you all are saying. And at that time, I didn't make a commitment to doing something specifically, but at least it was like it's out there now. Your whole family has sat you down and talked to you about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they set you down, and then like, what was the first step? You went to you found
After
AA.
that, oh, so okay, that was in 20, probably 2014, 2013, actually. That was in 2013. So there was still 2 years that I, probably had, these promises. I'm going to drink less. I'm going to stop hanging out with these people. I'm going to quit bartending. And so that, I'm going to focus more on school. I'm going to finish this master's degree. I'm sure that I made rules with myself. I'm only going to drink on Saturdays. I'm not going to drink tequila. I'm only going to drink beer, and all
Okay.
these silly rules agreements I had made. And it wasn't a conscious decision until a long day of drinking where I woke up. A girlfriend and I went to a women's event that was serving wine. Then
Mm-hmm.
we went to a boxing party and we're drinking there. Then we went to a friend's birthday party and we're drinking there. And that's when that night, it was probably 2, 3 in the morning, driving home, drove my car off the freeway into a ditch. And still, even then, in that moment, called my friend just like, oh, can you call AAA for me? Didn't even put two and two together. Like, no, girl, you didn't just like swerve off the road. Like, you're in a ditch. Like, there's
And this is
no,
California?
you're about to get arrested. You're about to get arrested. So,
This is in California?
yeah, California.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So then, DUI, arrested, 0.15, so twice the legal limit, thousands and thousands of dollars in legal fees. And even then, I lasted about 8 months because I didn't really reach out for help. I had that embarrassing moment, had to go to an AA, had to go to meetings because it's required, but was still in denial. I understood this is a problem. I literally just got arrested, drove my car off the freeway, could have died, could have killed someone else, all these things could have happened. But I thought I was too good for AA. I was like, it's not that bad. Yes, I got a DUI, but that was my own fault, not alcohol. It's insane. They say alcohol is cunning and baffling and powerful. So I only attended the required classes that I had to pay for, and I lasted about maybe 6 or 8 months on my own. And then
Mm-hmm.
I went back into you know, okay, well, as long as I'm not with this person, then I can drink. As long as I don't drink margaritas, then I can drink. And that lasted for another almost 3 years,
Mm.
until I was like, I'm tired. I'm just tired of this. I'm running a gym right now. I have my master's degree in kinesiology, exercise psychology. Like, what am I doing? I'm telling people to be healthy, to be well, to have positive mindset. I'm teaching nutrition classes. I'm doing all these things in the day, but it's a lie. It's a lie. Like, I'm not happy. I'm anxious. I have these challenges. I'm in a toxic relationship, but I'll put on my little mask and be like, and then go home, take the mask off, and be who I really was.
Right.
So that's exhausting. And I just decided in October 2018, I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose. I'm in this toxic ass relationship. I'm struggling in the business because I can't show up as who I really need to be. Um, and these things are happening because I continue to drink. And I think people have a misconception that a problem, like problem drinking, means you drink every single day and you black out every day. You don't have a job, or you're homeless, you're a bum, you don't take care of your responsibilities. That's what people think of when they think of AA. They think of white men
Mm-hmm.
with brown paper bags. Um, they don't think of master's degree students, nurses, doctors, lawyers. That's not what they think of, holding up a job, and not necessarily drinking every single day. It wasn't even an everyday thing for me. It was the person that I became when I did drink, and how I drank when I did drink. Like, we're not going to have a glass of wine. We're going to drink the whole bottle. Um, we are not going to, I'm going to take a water bottle with liquor in it just out and about during the day, like those kind of those kind of things. And so when I just got tired of that, I decided I'm going to go and walk into this room, see what they have to say. And best decision I ever made. Now, I say, like, God knew that I needed to walk into a room full of black folks because I was raised around all white people, so that was part of my resentments to the world, was just like white people in general. And so the room I walked into was all black folks. I felt like I was at a little church, it felt like family, and seeing these women, that were many years older than me, and these men that were many years older than me tell these stories, and I just connected immediately, and I was like, oh shit, like, that they're talking about me. Like, how do these people know my stories? But they're talking about themselves, but it's a common, you have these common experiences. And not long after that, I searched on Instagram sobriety, and I found Sober Black Girls Club,
Mm-hmm.
and I was working both of those. um, and then Clubhouse started a year ago, started being
Mm-hmm.
active in that. And so my journey has lots of different pieces to it. I'm not a AA thumper. I'm not, like, big book thumper. Like, AA is the only way. AA is one way. If that works for you, hey, I'm all for it. Um, as a black person, though, a lot of people do not feel comfortable in AA if they can't find, or NA, or whatever the anonymous group is. They're not comfortable because they don't see people that look like them. We already struggle as black folks in the world. The last thing I
Right.
want to do is sit in a room full of white people and talk about my drinking problem. So now there's lots of spaces where you can talk about your journey with people who look like you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot more conducive to you actually recovering and evolving than being in a space where you don't feel comfortable, so you're not going to get the most out of it.
Okay. So, you said you was in a toxic relationship. So, like, during that period in your relationship, were you both just drinking and doing substance abuse at the whole time?
He was more of a woman. Yeah, substances for him too, but his drug of choice was women. That was his drug of choice, which was very toxic to the relationship. And then also, cocaine was his drug of choice. I like to drink. It was just a disaster waiting to happen. Um, and just, yeah, not meant to be, definitely not meant to be. And so we went back and forth and back and forth. And when I finally started my own healing journey, before I quit drinking, I had started going to retreats, I had started looking for therapists. um, I was doing things that were going to get me to get the courage to face this real issue. And I finally just decided to, like, cut that relationship off, just really, like, hey, I'm moving out, I'm out of here, see you later. um, and is best thing that could have possibly ever happened to me. I'm so grateful to be free from both of those. Um, and yeah, when you add that fuel to the fire of your partner having their own challenges and you have your own challenges, it's just the perfect storm for a mess. So yeah.
Right. So, what would you say? Because I know you said you didn't have that much time, but what would you say to a person that's possibly watching right now who may be going through something? Like, how would they start their journey to be like, listen, I want to quit, like, I want to stop, like, how would
Yeah.
you come to them?
Um, so first I will say, understand this. Drinking is normalized in the American culture. It is glamorized. For women, for mothers, I'll say the mommy wine culture is encouraged. Your kids are whining, you should drink wine. It's wine o'clock somewhere. So it's not. I will first say it's not you. Um, I mean, that's not just you. There are millions of other people who are feeling the same way, are struggling just like you are. So just know that our society is not helping you. Our society is encouraging you to drink more and more and more. Um, I will say that if it's you yourself, definitely connect with me. I can share lots of information. If you feel compelled to reach out to an AA group or an NA group or CA or whatever the substance, or Gamblers Anonymous, whatever it is, because sobriety or recovery is not just about alcohol use. But if you know that there's something, some habit that you're doing repeatedly that you keep saying you're not going to do anymore, and you're struggling with keeping your commitment to yourself, reach out to find a support group. The worst thing you could do is try to do it on your own. Try to do it on your own. Definitely not. Um, Going to have much long term success. So find a community that you can be a part of. Sobriety Club on Clubhouse, Sober Black Girls Club on Clubhouse, Sober Black Girls Club on Instagram. Start searching for um, support groups for people of color, support groups for Black people, support groups for Black men. You have to do the work and chase it. It's
Mhm.
not going to fall into your lap. You need to chase your recovery the same way you chase alcohol or substances. You need to seek out the journey the same way you were seeking out the lifestyle that you have right now. I would say the beautiful thing is right now you don't have to be ashamed, because so many people are openly sober now. So many people are openly alcohol free now. Right now, sobriety is actually a trend. So jump on the train, jump on the train right now while it's hot. Like, what could be a more dope thing to be hot and trendy than being sober? Like, it's the coolest trend there could possibly be, is the encouragement to put down the bottle, or put down the substance, whatever it is. And then the last thing I would do is say to you to reach out for some kind of coaching or therapy, depending on what, if you have access through your insurance, if it's a life coach, if it's a therapist, if it's a psychiatrist, get yourself some professional help, someone
Right.
who can help with the mental health component. Because in my experience, in these last 3 years, I personally, and I've come across hundreds of people, probably creeping up to thousands of people, I haven't met anyone who was abusing a substance who didn't also live with anxiety, depression, some type of mental health challenge, who didn't also have a challenging upbringing or something traumatic happen. So there's always some other piece to it. It's not you just wake up one day and say, I think I'm gonna start drinking. My life is great. I'm gonna just start drinking. It's usually not like that. So seek out that professional help. But just chase it. I can point anyone in the direction. If the person, if it's not a Black person who's watching this, I can point you into the direction of, Sobriety Club is not just for Black folks. um, there's lots of other groups. She Recovers is one of them, Smart Recovery is one of them, Dharma Recovery is one of them. um, any group you can think of has a recovery aspect to it. And if religion is your thing, for like my dad, that was his. He did rehab 3 times. Rehab just didn't stick for him, and he found his recovery in his spiritual relationship.
Okay.
If that's you, then chase that as well. Really seek that out, because it's not normal to black out. It's not normal to become angry and mean. It's not normal to miss work. It's not normal to say you're not going to drink and then end up drinking more than you ever did. That's not normal drinking. To be 100% completely 100% honest, they're truly the phrase responsible drinking, we got to eliminate that. You we can just say you choose to drink. You choose to drink because there's no way to be responsible when you're drinking. It's poison. Like, there's not, I'm not saying that just to be like, ethanol doesn't have any health benefits. So, it's not like you're responsible because you only had one glass of wine. You're just choosing to drink a glass of wine. So starting to change your mindset around it and really understand what you're putting into your body, and making the conscious decision to surround yourself with people who are also going to support you choosing this new lifestyle.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
That's truly a blessing, that you stated that you fell off the wagon, but then you got back on the wagon, and right now you out here
Oh
doing
yeah.
your justice and dues, to make sure people can stay on the wagon, because I know it's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
life is hard. Life is hard. And the first thing we do, like we stated before, celebration, death, birth. Where's the substances at? Basically, that's just a coping mechanism that we go through. I
Yep.
go through it, you've been through it, people that's watching been through it. Somebody's probably watching, probably now drinking or doing something. But at the end of the day, you have to see the light at the end of the tunnel. When I did grasp from you at the end, what you said was, you have to want it. You have to chase it as much as you chase the crack man, the coke man, the liquor store, whatever, as well as you chase that $10 or that $4 in a bottle, whatever you doing, you have to chase that for your own recovery success story.
Yep.
But I have to ask you this because like what is the craziest thing that you ever think you've done besides the ditch you just told me that you wrote into, that the craziest thing you've ever done? I mean, I'm not saying that because
Oh my goodness.
if it triggers, I don't want you to go there. But
Oh
sometimes we
no.
do things and we sit back and be like, "Damn, I did that," and you
The
laugh about it.
crazy. I mean, I'll tell you a couple of crazy moments. And they're always with the same person too, who swore they didn't have a drinking problem, but that's fine. We're cool now. Um, One crazy thing was driving probably, I don't know, 90, 95, 95 from LA to Palm Springs for a birthday party, drinking,
Mm,
doing lines, driving, having my homegirl hold a book up to my nose with a line of coke so I could sniff it while I was driving.
wow.
Crazy. Like what are you thinking, girl? Then getting pulled over probably, I don't know, 5 minutes after that happened and somehow not getting a ticket, talking
Mm,
ourselves out of it, but just like that could have ended really, really badly. That
yeah.
could have gone really, but just a crazy decision of like, this is a good idea. Hold that up to my nose so I could do this while we're driving and drinking. Um, Same person, just faded out of our minds and driving home. And she went to go make a turn, and we went over the median and just kind of like flew in the air, landed back down, busted all four tires, and
Damn.
then just kind of looked at each other like, oh shit, pulled over and just, called her sister to pick us up like nothing had happened. Like, oh damn, that was messed up. Like, not thinking like, are you crazy? Like, are you crazy? You just busted all four of your tires in the street, like, and you just think like, oh shit, that was a crazy night. Um, yeah, wild adventures. Just making crazy decisions, not remembering how you got home. Oh, my car is parked here. I'm here, but like not remembering the drive home. And then still, I think I will have to say the craziest thing is those things happening and then still drinking the next weekend. That is the craziest thing. Having
Yeah.
stuff like that happen and then being like, okay, well, that was yesterday. It's a new day. I'm gonna just, try to do it a little differently. To me, that's the extreme insanity is when you just keep making that stupid decision over and over. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, that was some. That feel like some wild times, especially driving with the book. I'm like, hold on, that is that even possible? But
If the passenger was holding it up, we were determined to get high. That's just what that was.
I definitely understand. But I definitely would love to continue this conversation. I know you said you had somewhere to be, so I definitely want to email you, and I definitely want to bring some more of your fellow members on so we could, talk to some people
Yeah.
about.
Definitely. Yes, I will see who is who's open. I would say I'm one of those people who's definitely loud and proud, and some people do choose to kind of remain a little bit more anonymous. They're not necessarily it could be work related or like relationship related where they're not super open, but we've got over 800 members in Sober Black Girls Club and like 6,000 members in the Sobriety Clubhouse. So I know that there are some folks who would come on, be willing to come on and share their experience. And I wish, Rod, I had somewhere to go. It's my son. I gotta go feed my son. I ain't going
That's
nowhere. I'm
cool.
just
That's
I'm just
cool.
going out to the living room to mom.
Babies first. But if they do want to come on, they don't have to. If they want to talk, they don't have to turn their camera on. They don't have to put their name on because
Oh,
this is a good topic. I want people to understand. That into the bottle or into cocaine or whatever is not the way to actually go if you facing problems. So, and I think y'all got a good cause because I've actually went through, I didn't know about the Sober Black Girls, but I went through the clubhouse thing. That's what I was asking you about. Not what's her name? Not Natalie. Natalie.
Oh yeah, Natalie. It just has like a unique spelling to it. Yep.
Yeah. I was asking, about her if she wanted to come on. Actually, she did finally email me back and said, "Hey, who did we reach out to?" And I never emailed her back, but I'll definitely let her know that we reached out to you and you came on and spoke.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, they can always come on and basically, if they want to turn their cameras off and talk, they can and explain their story because this is definitely a huge topic to talk about.
Yeah. Especially for Black folks, we need to understand that like it's okay, and being a person who doesn't abuse substances, like I said, I'm not anti-alcohol. I'm not like we need to destroy all the alcohol in the world. I just want people to know the truth and know the facts, know the reality that you know, the myth of oh, a glass of red wine is good for your heart, that's been disproven. We know that it's not the wine that's good for your heart, it's the dark color in the berry. So you want to increase your heart health, eat some blackberries, raspberries, or blueberries. Um, so just some of those myths that are out there, I want people to know those. And as Black folks, I want us to understand how much more powerful we can be to our community, much more of an asset we can be to our community if we are in our clearest and right minds. Um, and once you know that alcohol was a substance that was intentionally used to tear us down, it makes it a little harder. Which that's what I like to be devil's advocate in that. I'd like to, are you sure you want to drink that? You know that was what was trying to take us out 50, 60 years ago, right? You don't want that. So you'll hear my voice next time. Next time you go to grab a drink, you'll remember.
We'll hear your voice.
You'll hear my voice like, do I really want this right now, or do I just need a nap? We tell people that before you take a drink or do whatever it is, ask yourself, what do I really want right now? What is it that I actually want right now? I had a long, hard day at work. I'm tired. I want to relax. Do you actually want to drink, or do you just want to take your ass to sleep? Just go to sleep. Just that's what you need is rest, because wine is going to mess up your sleep. Hennessy is just going to mess your sleep up. When you fall asleep alcohol induced, you're not sleeping. Your body is trying to recover from the alcohol that you had. It's not sleep. If you were taking the monitoring, you wouldn't be sleeping. You would be breathing. Your eyes are closed, but that's not true sleep. That's a whole nother. I could go on for forever. So
Right.
yes,
You didn't
I'll
reach
come.
your. I mean, yeah, you
I'm gonna
didn't reach
come
your
back on.
REM. You didn't reach your REM. Thank you for coming, Miss
Yep.
Keola. Bring your friends next time. This is my house, but you always welcome. And we here to change
Yes.
lives again. This is the platform for us, this HBCU thing. We want to change lives. I always say when we do these shows is we never know what somebody's going through out here that's watching. So
Yep.
pray that somebody's like trying to get the strength to say, hey, I don't want to do this no more. And we put the information up. They can reach out to you, Natalie, or whoever in the group, and they can, come talk. But whenever y'all ready to come, y'all welcome.
Yes, that's awesome. No, this is great, and congratulations on this space and having this space. Create Being a creator of anything positive is absolutely amazing. So I commend you for doing that. And yes, exactly what Rod said. My name, I put my whole name there. You could Google it. You might see my mug shots, and you also might see my master's degree. So who knows what you'll find? But you can find me on Instagram at my name, Keola Rains. I'm on Clubhouse, same thing at Keola Rains. On Facebook at Keola Rains. All of those. Um, so yes, this was awesome. Thank you so much, and I will sign off now.
Now,
Take
seriously,
care.
y'all better come back. Y'all better come
Yes,
because I
no,
want to keep
yeah,
the conversation.
I promise you. All right, y'all. Take care.
All right, thank you, Miss
Bye.
Keola. All right. We still not done, brother, for real. Add that I be damn up, and so we can see what's going on today.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of I'll Be Damned. This story is coming out of Raleigh, North Carolina tonight. So this young lady says, "Hey Rod, so this what happened. So I'm having lunch outside of a cafe, an upscale mall, when this tall chocolate man in a pinstripe suit walks by. Anyone who knows me knows I love a clean cut man, especially one in pinstripe suits. I totally melted because he was fine, and I hoped that he had noticed me because I was too shy to approach him. Anyway, our eyes met. I smiled. He smiled, but he continued on to wherever he was going. However, he came back and asked for my number. Score, go. This is what she said. I was gushing and couldn't wait for his call. Fast forward 2 days later, he calls. I'm exuberated. Yay. And we're having a great conversation until he places me on hold. While on hold, I hear him having a shouting match with some guy in the background, and he says, "I'll get off the motherfucking phone when I feel like it. I'm tired of you clocking me." When he returns to the call, I ask if everything is okay at home, and that's when he dropped the bombshell on me. He said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm homeless, and I live in a homeless shelter." Wow. She says, "Sir, no one forgets that they're homeless. Get the fuck out of here." Long story, more boring, as if it could get any worse. He spent the remaining 30 minutes of the call giving me a laundry list of his problems. My ex kicked me out. My car got repossessed. I was going to get a job. I bought a gun to rob a bank. I got fired from my other job. Needless to say, the date was over before it began because I blocked all his calls after that. I be damned. See you next week.
Oh man, so basically he forgot that he was homeless. So it's wintertime, and ladies, sometimes this shit occurs that guys are homeless and they need somewhere to move into. But I definitely like to thank my tonight's guest, Miss Keola Rains from Sobriety Clubhouse, Sober Black Girls. The one thing I'm gonna leave with y'all before I leave, I'm gonna leave y'all with two things. Before we leave, this is a very very touchy subject about sobriety. So, rock bottom. First thing I would say is rock bottom became the solid foundation with which I rebuilt my life, and that's by J.K. Rowling. Um, Also, we want to say you don't have to see the whole staircase just to take the first step. Just to take the first step. Martin Luther King. Um, Addiction isn't about alcohol and drugs. It's the absence of self. This absence is described as a hole in your soul. You can't love others when you're empty inside. Recovery peels back the painful layers and heals that hold through connect honest and hard work. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifetime of recovery. And we're gonna leave it like that. I'm Rod. This is Sobriety. I see you next week with another episode of I'll Be Damned and Amsterdam Talk. See you next week. I holla at y'all. Peace.